Saviorless is a 2D platformer that introduces combat elements as the story unfolds, but how exactly does it play? Well, why don't you grab some popcorn and stay tuned to find out. When the game begins, we're introduced to three characters sitting atop an open tower: Len, Arimbo and their uncle Tobias. Now they're all known as narrators who control protagonists by narrating their stories. There's a few golden rules though for narrators. They can never let a protagonist achieve their goals, and they can never control several protagonists within the same story. The story being told is about a child called Antar, who's our player character. Now Antar's goal is to become a saviour, and to do this he'll have to embark on a soul adventure. All of this information is given within the first few minutes of the game, so to prevent any spoilers, I won't go into any more detail. When we take control of Antar, we can jump, crouch and interact with objects. Now this is pretty much the platformer standard, so there's not too much to see here. Initially you'll be locating keys in order to open up doors, and you'll know when you've got one as they're displayed on the bottom right hand of your screen. When you die, you're taken back to the last section in which the game autosaved, and the game does autosave frequently, which makes dying less of a deal. The game will test your platforming prowess in a few ways. For example, here we need to get to the other side of the level, obviously, but we have a creature blasting off sound waves that will push you off the edge to your death. You'll be utilising cover as well as crouch walking to overcome the challenge. There are enemies present and any form of contact with them will kill you. You can't attack them, so you'll be using your brain and not brawn. You'll need to bait enemies into attacking you close to a trap so they can kill themselves, and once they do, make sure to give them the complimentary tea bags. On the house, of course. To do this you'll either need to jump or crouch. There are some collectibles in the form of story pages which are scattered around each level. You'll know how many are outstanding by looking at the bottom left hand of your screen. Now once you obtain these you can speak to an NPC who will reward you by giving you an item. Now, the story pages are completely optional, so don't worry too much if you miss a few. If you have missed a few, just speak to this guy and maybe he can help you out. You're rewarded with a trophy for collecting all of the pages within a level, and I'm unsure if collecting all of them changes anything in the game at all. So if you do know, please let me know in the comments. There's sections where you'll need to steer clear of hazards like these tentacle attacks, avoiding flying enemies while swinging through the jungle, and also time-based puzzles where you have to move a little bit quicker. We need to discuss the moment I found out the game wasn't just a 2D platformer, but actually an action platformer. Now you gain access to a second playable character who can attack enemies, and I was pleasantly surprised. Now this character doesn't die in one hit like Antar, and has a HP bar. His HP can be restored by breaking containers and killing enemies. I can't really speak about the combat in too much detail without spoiling anything, but take my word that it's good initially, and it gets even better. There are some signs in each location that provide further lore of what's happening in the game world, as well as NPCs that do the exact same thing. Antar will find himself in the centre of boss battles, but remember, Antar can't attack enemies directly, so you'll be utilising other tools in the environment to take them down. None of them are too challenging, but just be prepared to retry them a few times until you get their patterns memorised. The puzzle sections were enjoyable, they weren't mentally taxing, and you won't need to bother getting a guide up on YouTube. In this section we're encountered by enemies that have an area of effect attack. If you get caught in the radius, then you die. Now whilst I was trying to bait an enemy towards me, it got in the other creature's AoE attack and died. So if you do pick the game up, just remember that's a thing. The platforming sections become more of a challenge the further into the game that you get. Now some areas require pinpoint accuracy as well as timing that a speedrunner would be proud of. The enemies also get bigger and quicker, the environmental hazards get deadlier, and your amount of deaths dramatically increase. As with any platformer, there are some frustrating parts where you'll be questioning your monitor on how exactly you just died. Well, I did anyways. My monitor got a thorough telling off. For Antar, up some easy arse jumps, but that's just part of the platforming territory. If the game was a complete cakewalk, it wouldn't be any fun. So although there were some tilting sections, I'd take ownership that it was a skill issue and not the game. As soon as I started the game, I was greeted by fantastic music. I hadn't even got to the menus and I was eager to play. This does not change throughout the entire game, as the whole soundtrack is top notch. The art style looks very good and there's a reason for that. The characters have been completely hand drawn, the animations also look crisp, and I can tell there was a lot of time and effort that went into this game's development. Some levels are dark and dreary with the background music reflecting the scenery. Honestly, it doesn't look like there's been one line out of place. The game's overall performance was good but not great. For example, the game stutters and dropped frames whenever autosaving. We also ran into a game bug in this level where we were stuck in the water and had to quit the game to continue. Now none of these impacted my overall take on the game, but they should be noted nonetheless. Also, whenever you want to quit the game, there isn't a save and leave option. You'll be brought back to the last place that the game auto-saved. Once you finish the game, there's nothing else to do. You can load your previous save file, but it pretty much takes you back to the final level. Saviorless took me approximately 5 hours to complete, and I'm certain there are people out there that will complete it far quicker than what I did. As a whole, I enjoyed the game. The platforming was good, with the mechanics working well. The sections with the combat were my favourite though. I thought the split of platforming and combat with separate characters was a unique spin. game. I paid £10 for the game, or $12, and I was very happy with that price point. If you enjoy platformers, love a great music score and appreciate a hand-drawn art style, then I'd recommend Saviorless to you. The devs have done a great job on this one. I personally would like to see them develop a game with more focus on combat. Now the reason I say that is slightly biased. Although I enjoy more combat focused games, the combat that they did implement was very good, and I'd like to see that built on further. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribers and non-subscribers, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, comment if you have anything to say or ask, I respond to all comments, and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to see more content just like this. I'm Senor Donut, peace out. It got on the other creature's AoE attack and died, so if you do pick... Oh shit, is that my Tinder going off? That's the Tinder going off, boys. The platforming sections, I can't help but say sections. Shaken, not stirred. Sections. You've heard about killing enemies, well how about riding on top of them? Oh, there's the Tinder. Oh, there's the Tinder again.